So welcome back to another recap of Village on a Diet, and episode 3 just ended. I'm Kyle from kylewith.com, and what was the main topic of this week's Village on a Diet? Well, it was learning to cook and cook healthier and portion sizes to eat. So Chef Jonathan was going through a lot of the town with talking about what to eat, what not to eat. He first of all met the whole community as a whole in the gym and did a whole cooking session there. But I think that was really overwhelming for a lot of people. He was saying a lot of things that people were just going over their heads about what to do. And so by the end of that, he decided that he would go to individual homes to teach them how to cook. I don't know how he went to all the homes in the community because there was a lot of people, but he went to the selective ones that are on the show. One of the first places Chef Jonathan went, though, was the pizzeria, which is where the town gets most of its food because it's the only pizza place in town. And Melissa, who's the chef there, there was some knocking of heads at first, and we weren't sure how that was going to turn out, but he talks to her and then he goes back afterwards, and it turns out that a pizza with different ingredients, healthy ingredients, thinner crusts, that gets the stuff going a little bit better, and less meat with more vegetables is still a great tasting pizza. And I'm a big guy too, there's no doubt about it, and I thoroughly enjoy a thin pizza, an Italian style thin crust pizza. I don't need to load it up. To be totally honest, and maybe this is just because I love food so much, I prefer a pizza with less on it than one that is really thick, but that's just my opinion. So I'm glad that by the end, Melissa, who owns the pizzeria, really came around to the idea of making a smaller pizza and less grease. I really do not like a greasy pizza, and I don't like a lot of cheese because the cheese is where the grease comes from most of the part. So that was a great thing to see that she's coming around for it, and I can't wait to see what kind of pizzas, and it's almost worth me to drive the 20 minutes to try out this new style pizza that is there now. Glenn Cross, who's the kind of town motivator there, who lives in town, did a lot of work this week himself to get himself into shape more. And although he doesn't look like he's horribly overweight, he does smoke a lot, which contributes to his weight factor. And he's trying to quit, but apparently the stress of trying to quit has encouraged him to smoke more. So he's sitting with a bit of a dilemma there. And then after we saw him do that, they had the community challenge where they had to move gravel and dirt and make community gardens. Now, the one problem there was that not everybody was getting dehydrated. Jonathan, the homeschooled teenager who weighs 188 pounds, got dehydrated, had to stop for a bit and get some sugar in his blood going, his blood sugar back up again, and eventually he got in there. They finished making the gardens, and now they can grow their own fresh vegetables for the community so they can start eating healthier and that kind of thing. When Chef Jonathan finally starts to go into the houses to show them individually how to start cooking, a lot of people are up in arms about it. They're not too for it. They're not sure if they're going to like it, but eventually when they see that they can make vegetables taste good and have smaller meat portion sizes but have it still taste good, they come around to it. And the biggest thing about this episode, I think, is recognizing portion controls. A lot of the time, and I'm included in this is one of my problems, we eat more than we need. And you have to realize that you do not have to eat until you're full every single time. Stop while you're ahead, eat smaller meals, and eat multiple times in a day. I think it's every 3 hours, have a snack, have a meal, and then go from there. And so then you're going to start feeling better and more energized. The Fraser family was focused on a lot this episode. Rob, Colleen, Sarah, and Jen, who are the two daughters. Rob is all for exercising, and he was exercising, and he's pumping, and he's going, and he's all for it, whereas his wife, Colleen, is not so much. She's drinking more wine, and she's not doing any exercise, which has definitely affected her final weight for this week. Whereas the competitive daughters that we met last week were being not as competitive this week, but Sarah stepped up her game, did a lot of exercising, changed her eating habits, trying to quit smoking, and really made a change, and she lost more weight than her sister Jen, who, while wasn't exercising, was getting her nails done. Let's get back in order here. You're not a drama queen, not just because you're on a TV show now. You're not a celebrity yet, dear. So that was kind of the idea of this episode of Village on a Diet, episode 3, was portion controls, eating healthier, and continuing that exercising. So eating the healthier was the biggest thing, and learning how to cook and shop. I don't believe the fact that some of these people had never seen vegetables before. I know they've seen vegetables before. They just choose not to recognize them. They go right to the chip aisle. So, although I think it's funny thinking that a leek was a giant green onion, I admit I've done that before as well. So, that's it. That was episode 3 of Village on a Diet. I'm Kyle With, and this is at kylewith.com. But before you go, let's run through some of the weight losses. Sarah lost 3 pounds. Jen lost 2 pounds. Rob Fraser, who's the father of Jen and Sarah, lost 2 pounds. Colleen gained 3 pounds. She's the mother of the $2. And Jonathan, the teenager, lost 3 pounds. Brent lost 18 pounds altogether because he wasn't able to weigh himself last week. And the big one this week was Jamie, who learned to cook, learned to ride her bike, learned to exercise properly because she's trying to get into that wedding dress, lost 9 pounds this week. So congratulations, Jamie. And everyone else, we'll see you all next week. As for my exercise, I'm trying so hard to do my half an hour in the morning, and eat less is really a big thing as I start to exercise more and eat less. Is cut out the sugars and stuff like that. So kylewith.com. We'll see you next week for another Village on a Diet recap.